Ladies and gentlemen, I am MackTen, and today I'm going to be casting a match between Swagtacular and WhiteRush. Swagtacular, now that is a sweet name, Swagtacular, and I'm sure the sound is probably insanely loud, so let's turn that down to like 15%. Cool, awesome Korean swag. The only Korean I know. Okay, so Swagtacular is the yellow Protoss in the northeastern corner of Daybreak, and in the southwestern corner we have WhiteRush, the red Terran. This is being cast, yes, this game's actually being cast live, as you can see over here. This is not actually a replay. I am actually casting this live, and so let's not use vulgar shit. Oh, I can't actually talk to him because they made me a spectator. That's totally fine, totally fine. Things could be rough for them, though. Swagtacular building a pylon because that's what Protoss players do. Now, Rush, on the other hand, is building his supply depot back here. I'm not sure if I actually like this because I always go for that herp derp barracks 2 supply depot wall right here. But anyway, nothing too big to worry about except for the fact that he supply blocked the hell out of himself. Good God! And that is actually Japanese, I believe, or Chinese. It does not look like Korean. And throwing down them thar barracks. Standard. There's a gateway there. An assimilator. He's making an internal wall because this will help against the Zerglings. He's sending out a scout. Swagtacular scout probe. Bob the scouting probe. So, while nothing important's going on, graphics, vertical sync. Vertical sync is enabled. WhiteRush getting 1 gas, because as we all know, Terran units that use gas are actually broken as shit. So, back over here on the Protoss side, he's also got a gas, because any unit that comes out of a cybernetics core, or that needs a cybernetics core to be made, is actually pretty broken in every matchup but this one. In this matchup, you just die. So, we've got the probe going back over to the Protoss base, and now the Terran's going to scout. Nothing of note at all happening here. I'm not exactly sure why he's going to make this wall here now that he already built the... I guess this is to wall him off in case there's a warp prism drop at some point, unless he drops over here. I really don't know, because it's just hoping that he drops with a warp prism from this angle and uses zealots and tries to drop directly on top of that supply depot. I got it. He's going to drop directly on top of that supply depot. And concussive shell is coming, which means he's probably going to go for something extraordinarily cheesy because he built 1 Marine and now he's building Marauders. So back over here at Camp Swagtacular, chrono boosting out a Stalker, which is a direct counter to everything that the Zerg race makes, and the direct counter to nothing that the Terran makes. This Marauder's just gonna roll that over. And also, that's joke. That's just a little bit of humor. The Marines are actually really shitty against Stalkers, but Marauders are really good against Stalkers. And once those Marauders have concussive shell, as we all know, then Zealots won't really be an issue either way. They can just be kited even more infinitely than normal. So that Stalker, which happens to move really quickly, just checking out the scout tower, doing nothing too spectacular. There is a Zealot down here that I totally missed. It looks like he killed a Marine and nothing else because Marauders are broken as shit, and they have concussive already. Good God, concussive research is fast. What in the literal fuck? Sorry for the language. Meanwhile, over at Camp Swag, the cybernetics core is being chrono boosted repeatedly because he looks very afraid of the Marauders, because as we all know, Marauders kill things really quickly. Meanwhile, he's throwing down an expansion. I don't know if I agree with this choice because the 2 Marauders can actually kill every single unit on the map because Marauders are broken as shit. And Warp Gate's about to finish. And he's got 2 gates, which I guess will be enough to hold this off. Maybe 1 central... Oh, crap. There's a Reaper. Now, I'd like to point out that Swagtacular is actually a Master League Protoss, and WhiteRush is either a low Diamond or a high Platinum Terran. I forget where he is right now in that there North American ladder. But it looks like Rush is about to do significant damage, unless he just continually walks around while the sentry attacks him. And back to the battle, we've got two Stalkers. The two Stalkers are about to take down the Marauder, and the two bunkers down here, which actually won't do anything now that both of the Marauders are dead. There is one Reaper, but one Reaper does not do so well against three Stalkers, and this Protoss player is a straight-up boss. Holy shit. And there come the laser beams. Oh. And that should actually be GG, but because Terran is so incredibly herptastically, derptastically, techlabstically broken, we will continue to see a long macro game play out. Now, the thing is, I'd like to remind you guys, is that though the Terran race is actually impossible to defeat in some kind of cheese as the Protoss race, in the late game, the Protoss race is absolutely, totally broken as shit, from Blink Stalkers to Charge Lots, to the pair of unstoppable, destructible death units, the Colossus and the High Templar with Storm. I think the longer the game goes on, the more likely the Protoss is to win. And also considering he's going for a fast third, and that he's in the Master League, I would be dumping all of my chips onto camp this guy, Mr. Swagtacular, Swagtastic, whatever. So, more supply depots being built behind the mineral line because that's the shortest walk for the SCV to make. And as the SCV, oh, the SCV's rallied back to the mineral field. How Gosu is that? So, there's one refinery on the expansion. There's two refineries in the main. Did you guys know that when Nest T won the GSL the first time around, he actually didn't know he could spread creep tumors? The more you know. Meanwhile, back over at Camp Terran, we've got Marauders. He's actually got more Marauders than he has Marines, which is pretty sweet, actually. Except, actually, yeah, that's kind of the money composition he wants. I don't know exactly what Swagtacular's doing here, because those sentries are extremely effective when you have some Immortals in the mix, or when you have a lot of Zealots in the mix, so that you can make a wall behind them. But I don't think that it makes much of a difference when you've got Stalkers, especially when the primary unit you're going up against is the Marauder, which actually has the same range as the Stalker and is much more effective against the Stalker. So against lots and lots of Marines, you can just force field like a little bubble around them and then just pick them off from the outside with the Stalkers if you've got really good micro, which I would expect that this Protoss definitely has. But given his current composition and what Rush's composition is, I think that the unit composition favors WhiteRush. But considering, and before you ask, his name is a play on White Raw. But considering the fact that Swagtacular is Master League, he definitely has a plan, something more than I would at this point in time. He's definitely going to pick off the third here, but it looks like WhiteRush is just going to storm in and deal some ridiculous damage. Now, there's actually no tech here. Yeah, Swagtacular goes fuck, and I think if Swagtacular goes to the base race, though, he might be okay. And I think this is the biggest thing I struggle with as a Protoss player, are these big timing attacks around like between the 7 and 10 minute mark from the Terran. They almost always stop me unless I did some really, really quick tech play. And I don't exactly know what those force fields were for. Swagtacular trying to manage two battles at once. Swagtacular is actually doing a pretty good job of handling the situation. He's got the first national bank of bad macro going on, so I don't exactly know what he's going to do with all that money. I think if he made a full round of warp-in, like a full round of warp-ins like up in the mineral line, and then did it a second time with all these gates, I think he'd be able to destroy this army, no question. In fact, I would say until those pylons get sniped off, there's no reason he should lose. But now that those pylons are dead, it looks like he's gone, and I don't know, just because Swagtacular is Master League, I would favor him at this point. But, I mean, God, all he had to do was make those money warp-ins and he'd be fine. Now, if he can rebuild his tech quickly, I don't think the cannons are the right choice. I don't think that going for this sort of base race is the right idea, because WhiteRush is just going to run his shit all the way across the map. Now, Swagtacular at some point might warp a unit up in here, and then, oh, he totally sees it. He totally sees it, and Rush actually sees it too. and he's gonna make a planetary there. So that's a choice I don't quite understand. Meanwhile, we've got Swagtacular moving all of his derp units back across the map, and when his army meets WhiteRush's army, ooh, his army is 1-1 though at this point in time, and Swagtacular is at 0-0. But, I don't know, if Swagtacular can snipe one of these full medevacs, I think that would even it enough that he'd be okay. I don't know what Rush is thinking. Like, Swagtacular definitely knows where he is, and he definitely has these zealots here. Like, Swagtacular's map awareness right now is actually really, really, really shitty. I don't know, like, this is like Platinum League or Gold League stuff. Let's take a look at the worker count. So, workers killed. 47 workers have been killed by Rush, and 45 have been killed by our Master League Protoss friend. However, in the income tab, the Protoss player is leading 22-9, but the income's actually higher for the guy with 9 workers because he's Terran, and Terran is just fucking broken as shit. It looks like a New York City street on a Monday morning with all of the little yellow cabs running around. Total biscuit joke. So, really, okay, let's take a look at the units tab. So, 24 to 10. 10 is actually bigger than 25 as long as you have those mules. There's 1 Hellion, 4 medevacs, 9 Marauders, and 17 Marines, which is a way stronger army than what's up here for the time being. And Swagtacular does not want that starport to exist because a Raven would really fuck up the whole game right now for him. And 5 warp gates have arrived. I guess, I don't know where Swagtacular dumped all his money. Like, there's a big chunk of it right there in that expansion, but he did get the +1 armor upgrade, and if you're Protoss going against Terran, you always want to get the +1 armor upgrade first, because if you stack that with the Guardian Shield, then you effectively cut the Marine's attack in half. So you have a 6-attack Marine, and you have 2 armor on your Zealot, and you add Guardian Shield, you actually cut 2/3 of the damage out. So if you can rush for that +1 and you have Guardian Shield, you are actually totally set. Unfortunately, WhiteRush's army's way too big for this battle. He's going to totally crush him. Ladies and gentlemen, here he comes, here he comes, here he comes, and that is a lot of force fields. Good God. And the force fields are going down, and the Marauders will clean up everything here. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time. If you like my videos, please subscribe, upvote them on Reddit, etc., etc., and bye-bye.